morning is, in this moment, I give all glory to God, the great communicator. So we all want unconditional love, do we not? But unconditional love requires this. In order to have that, you cannot have conditional trust.
No? You cannot have conditional trust. And that means that you trust others will always do the right thing. What you think is right. What you see is right. What feels right to you. Well, that's not what trusting is, beloveds, nor what it means. It does not mean that everyone will always do the best thing. So, to unconditionally trust someone is to trust them to be who they are, where they are, and how they are in the here and now. To trust someone is truly to be able to see someone for who they are. As we talk about here, to see the Christ in them, to see their soul, to see where they are in this worldly journey, and to be in acceptance of that, of who they are and where they are. And to be able to have that kind of vision, because it takes a special vision. It's spiritual sight. And as I've talked about here before, it's to see as God sees. And to always ask, what does God see? Using your spiritual sight to see more and more of the whole picture, not just a small part of it, of who and where you and these people are. And not taking things personally. That's another important point of trust. To not take the actions or the words or the deeds of others personally. There is a kind of trust that must be unconditionally there for all others in order for your heart to remain open. Even the types of trust that we think must be earned must have an element of the unconditional within it. They must still maybe have parameters, must still be understood and clearly defined, and they cannot, I repeat, cannot be controlled or determined by the ego. It cannot be determined or decided by the ego because it will always bring you disappointment when it is. The ego does not ultimately know how to make those sort of choices from the heart because it was not created for that purpose. It was not created with that discernment. So let's go to part 2. That's reminding you of what we talked about last week. And part 2 is going to bring up 3 other aspects of unconditional trust. First, the other key that I'm talking to you about is the trust that heals your heart. And that is as solid for you and as transformational for you in your life that your faith is now. So, the second key to unconditional trust is discernment. Discernment is a gift of the soul and only the soul. The intellect does not have the gift of discernment. It has the ability to learn, to judge, to discriminate and weigh, to convey and compare. It also has the ability to analyze. And the ego has those capabilities as well. But discernment, something different. And it's a gift of the soul alone. And I call it a gift because it's not something that you can read about in a book and try to take on, nor is it something that's being taught by a teacher. It's not something that can be obtained from outside. Discernment is something that you feel inside. It's given from the soul, through the soul, which is why it is so spiritual. It's realized and its realization comes through the soul. So we always want to be awake to that. And you must, as you go on this journey in this path of trust, to learn how to defer more and more to the heart, where the discernment is at, because that's the seat of the soul, the place where the soul anchors itself into this world, which is in the heart, through the heart, of the heart, and for the heart. Any aspects of the heart, that's what it's about. So, beloveds, everything in your situations in your life, you want to be able to listen to the discernment and follow it. Use it more than ever, because when you do, magic happens in your life. And there's a lot of magic in this world. And it occurs when you are living and acting and choosing and creating and co-creating with others through that discernment, through that knowing of what the truth is, through the love and the awareness and the realization of your true self, the true soul that you are. So, beloveds, in no way are you meant to be alone in any way, shape, or form. And know that you're not alone. God is with you all of the time. That said, however, does not mean, as part of your journey, as part of stepping in your power, to step in your independence, to fully ground and anchor yourself in your independence. Because it's absolutely required for interdependence to become fully manifested, meaning that we got to get that manifestation, that independence in ourselves, and be able to make it connect with other people and make it connect to the oneness. So I would say that most of you have been doing such a great job of healing on old patterns that you came here with years ago, and the work that we've been doing with one another, and changing those old patterns about old dysfunctional ways that you used to have relationships, right? And it's all changed. Dependency and codependency are words in our psychological terminology that fit those patterns to a certain degree. But even those terms do not fully describe such patterns and what they manifest energetically. Some of you have come a long way in healing those patterns, and you need to be acknowledged for that and take it on and say, wow, I have done a lot of work. And the next step in healing is to fully own your independence now that you don't have those old patterns that you're tied to in your relationships with other people. It's all about being confident now and curious and joyful and accepting of this independence that you're now creating for yourself, which is an even bigger part of your empowerment. So many steps that you've taken in your life have been you stepping into your power. You know that? Every time you've taken a step forward, it moves you further into your personal power. It moves you at a place where you accept your independence more, which again does not mean that you are not alone or need to do things alone. But it does mean this, that you will lead, you will choose, you will decide, you will create what it is that you want in your life. Very powerful words to use. And then from that independence that you receive within yourself, you start to work independently or co-create interdependently with other people. That is exactly what we call the way of the heart, the path of the heart, and the way of love. Just think about that, being that love and our heart being open with everybody that we have a relationship with. It's what all the world religions have taught is the way of love. It's not dependency. It's not go dependent on anybody else. It's not interdependent alone. It is interdependence, co-creation with all others in our lives. Ultimately, then we create with all of life, and we're interconnected with all of creation. So that again fits in with the oneness that we are with everything. And especially as it manifests in special relationships. And just to give you an example, none is more special than the realization of soulmates that we use. And indeed, many of you have been given this opportunity and right now to have that experience. So let's say that a soulmate experience is an experience that can't be rushed or forced. It is an experience in which discernment, patience, and humility must be used and applied, as are all aspects of unconditional trust. Those parts fit in. Patience must be allowed for the proper unfolding of the timing. We talk about how there is divine timing for everything that goes on in our life. So true timing has to do with the alignment of the flow of energy. We get to look and say, are things flowing in my life the way that I want them to? Am I connected to the right alignment of the flow of energy of what I want to experience? Oftentimes, we probably just think of timing as when is it going to happen? But timing is much influenced by how. How is something vibrating? How are you vibrating? How are you in alignment? How connected or disconnected are you with your heart, with your soul, with life around you? All of these things in our life affect our timing. Also, we have soul contracts or things written into soul contracts that affect our timing. So there are opportunities we want to look at that come for soulmates to connect and co-create, to help heal each other, to transform and empower each other. Wow, doesn't that sound great? To be able to look at a relationship where we heal each other and empower each other to be all of who we are. And then, once we do that, we all move further on our path of empowerment, which is why we're here. And once we move forward, we move more into unconditional love. unconditional, all-encompassing love, and all the gifts of the heart. And you must be fully open. It means remaining fully detached as well, because you can't keep the heart fully open and be in any kind of trust and faith that I am describing here today without being in surrender. Very powerful word too, that we surrender ourselves to the flow, to God, to the love that's within us. They all go hand in hand. They're a part of the oneness. And in fact, this becomes a problem with trust being conditional. When we've had experiences of trust being broken, the breaking of our own heart through trust, mistrust being broken. And it comes about when surrender is not fully there, when detachment is not fully there, when we're too caught up in thinking it has to be a certain way for me to feel okay. So, in the realm of soulmate relationships, you must be keeping forward with your heart open. Look at the partner you have now, those that have partners. And how you have your heart open so that you're meant to share with another person and have detachment to the outcome or the result. You just allow the flow to come through. You build on the trust that I'm talking about. And you surrender to what it has to look like and be like, and you surrender to the form. It doesn't matter. You surrender to everything so that you end up being in a place of co-choosing and co-creating with one another. And you do that in the place of surrender. So, beloveds, you have to be totally surrendered to allow anything to come into your mind, into your heart, and know that you are co-creating it with everybody in this world. I'm not here by myself. No man is an island. We are here to connect with one another, to surrender our heart and our love. And it's not just about us being ready or me being ready in my personal readiness. It has to be a mutual one. The soulmate, the partner, the person you're with has to be ready as well for it to come together. And it must unfold organically. It cannot be forced. And the readiness to choose what shape or what form or how it will look has to be let go. Why? This is an important statement. All things are possible. All things are possible. So if we just open up to that and not worry about the outcome, we live in a universe of infinite possibility, don't we? And the divine creator of all that is has the opportunity to make possible all things. Let me repeat that. The divine creator of all that is has the ability to make all things possible. So, don't close your minds or your hearts to any possibilities at this time. Move forward, stay open. Know that when you're honoring the timing of things and what is needed and necessary in the cycles and stages, integration is important. That's the fourth aspect of trust, integration. And you need time for it. You need to give yourself time and space for it to come in and integrate within you. And learn, let there be no resistance to this, to moving forward. Don't let things get in your way, and be open to how you're going to co-create as you step forward. There is more of an intuitive knowing that you need to allow yourself to deeply integrate all the shifts or the transformations or the experiences or the healings that are taking place in your life. Integration allows for it to become more totally manifest in your heart. There's room for it. The pattern is there. So the deeper the integration of this new energy and this love, the better it is, because it means you won't revert back to the old. I mentioned that last week as well. We may sometimes lose it and go back 15 minutes or something where we feel like we're caught in an old pattern, but then we move out of it. None of you are going to go back to the way it was before. Isn't that a good thing to know? We're moving forward. All possibilities are here. So give your time to focus on integration. And elimination has to happen also. Things will integrate, and when it's ready, you will be ready. Keep that in mind. Don't worry about how it's supposed to be. Just know you are ready. By receiving here, by being open to receive what I'm saying here today, is already allowing your integration to be accelerated. Why? Just as there are low tides and high tides, there's no right or wrong, good or bad. It's what it is. There will be times of transformation and times of integration. They must go hand in hand. They're always meant to go together, kind of like the high tide and the low tide, the new moon and the full moon, yin and yang of each other. We have all of that within us. In fact, the yin aspects of integration is something you need to allow yourself to be fully comfortable with, to really feel it inside that everything is okay, everything is possible. My heart is open, I'm here, I've let go of the past, I'm co-creating. What a wonderful thing to know. And to know it's all about being, as I've talked. It's not about doing, it's about being, claiming that for yourself all the time. So, these transformations require being awake, being alert, being connected to love, and it brings everything into your being. It's a deep receptivity of absorbing all the way through. Feel about that you're taking this all into every cell of your body, all of what I'm talking about, which has to do with unconditional trust. Right now and right here, it can happen. It just means saying, yes, I take it in. And timing is much determined not just by how long it takes, but how much you allow it to be integrated and received and absorbed into your being. Don't put any blocks on it. Just allow it to be and let it flow in the way it's going to be. So these ideas we can look at coming from the company of heaven, who always say that we are in love and gratitude. We are standing here ready to be of service through the way of love. So this is about unconditional love, but it's also about the way of the heart. Being open in all ways to receive and to give. And just feel like, what if our lives were led by that every moment of the day? And we got to choose that. So, I want you to start off with unconditional trust, move into discernment, go to independence, and finally bring integration into all of your being. And you will find yourself on the way of love and the path of love. Namaste.